Darn it, they outfoxed us.
Yeah. The guy who never was in the company. How can we ever plot against that? The one thing we hadn't planned for.
Yeah.
Hey, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We are here talking about The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 7, The Believer. Penultimate episode of the season, Paul. We're almost to the end.
Yeah.
We open with Bill Burr's Miggs Mayfeld character, back from Season 1, getting freed from his New Republic prison scrapyard gig to join the team because he has knowledge of Imperial codes and can pass as an Imperial.
Sure.
We end with Mando sending a threatening message to Moff Gideon, repeating Gideon's words from the end of Season 1 about how, you have something important to me. I'll say this, Gideon knew that Mando was going to come after the kid, but is it wise to, announce your presence? He's got, Mando's got, a team of 4, I think, and Gideon has an army, so you would think the thing that you have going for you with a team of 4 is stealth. So
sure.
Maybe you don't have a big hologram of yourself going, I'm coming for you,
right.
Get ready, please lock down all security.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I don't know that I would have said that the Mandalorian is someone who, I'm gonna get you even in any situation, right? Yet you could say that perhaps his relationship with the child is different.
Obviously,
that's a rationale for all that. Yes, so there. And also, too, you made me take off my helmet.
Which we'll talk about. But yeah, that's right. I broke every code for you.
Yeah. That was his Liam Neeson moment.
Yeah, okay. That's right. I have a special set of skills.
Yeah.
We should just mention, at least in passing, the Disney investor meeting.
Sure.
Just an avalanche of Star Wars shows.
Yes.
I think they announced 10 altogether, which is just insane.
Apparently, yeah.
I was overwhelmed. I was just like,
yes,
whoa.
Very easy to be overwhelmed from that. From the Star Wars stuff alone, and yet there was even more than that.
Right, much less Marvel, yeah. So,
Discovery
Paul,
Channel, it was all.
The Discovery Channel stuff was, I was like, get rid of the Star Wars stuff. When does it go back to Hulu? Was there one particular, of these 10 new things coming, was there one thing in particular that was particularly notable to you? Something you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yes, I think it was the Acolyte. Okay. I like the whole idea of a sort of Star Wars spy show. That's my impression. I think that it's sort of like that. And a couple of cast members that were on there, too, that made me think, very good.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, and I think it's also done by one of the creators of Russian Doll.
Gotcha. All right. Which you were a big fan of.
Yes. Oh, you didn't like it?
I didn't see it.
Oh.
All right. I have watching to do. All right.
So that's one of the things that you can do to prepare.
Look, if it's not on the show, I don't watch it. I don't exist outside of Dork Lords.
That's right. Yeah, one day all of you will see that British baking.
The British baking show. Yeah. Get ready. We're gonna do. I can do theories on that all day long. My interest was piqued at the Kenobi series. I mean, I knew that was happening, but the fact that it's Ewan McGregor, they're bringing Hayden Christensen back, which I thought it was odd. I was like, oh wow, he's he's post Vader, so you're like. But so
recently I was able to change my opinion of him from the movies in that he posted something with him and a lightsaber for his kid. It was like, if I was a dad who was in Star Wars, I'd be doing that for my kid too.
Here's the lesser known, the 11th series that they announced. Jake Lloyd coming back. He's going to be with Jar Jar It's gonna be the Jake Jar show. Gonna be great. Looking forward to that. Go get him, Jake. Back to this episode, The Believer. Your overall thoughts, good sir, before we launch into specifics.
I liked it. It was interesting to, I haven't really dug deep into the political musings of Mayfield yet. But that was interesting to sort of have that sense. And I think it was a really nice episode, actually, in terms of that. By the end, when, they let him go, it was nice to sort of see Kara and Din get a new opinion of him and the audience, too. So yeah, that was I enjoyed the episode.
I agree. I liked that aspect of it, and the main action set piece, the fight on top of the Juggernaut.
Right. Yeah,
was well choreographed, well done.
Yeah.
So that was all good. There were a couple of things about it. I thought it was a little results oriented in terms of we want to force a way for Mando to take off his helmet. So we're going to contrive a very specific scenario where, you've got to be, you got to get to the terminal. Oh, the terminal's in a mess hall. Oh, the mess hall's got a guy in it who used to be the one guy who's going to use the terminal's boss, so he can't go. Oh, and it's a face scanner. And okay, I got it. You want him to take his helmet off. He got his helmet off. But that said,
Yeah, you would think that the person that he really wants to get in the room alone with is the writers. Like, come on!
Come on, shit. Damn, you had it in for my code, you jerks. That said, as you had brought this up before, security is terrible at this. We'll call it an Imperial base. I guess the Empire they're saying long live the Empire, so they consider themselves the Empire. So this Imperial base is oh yeah, they got a face scanner. It's really tough.
Yeah, if you don't got a face, you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, you can't be connected to the New Republic. But any old Joe who doesn't show up on the system is still accepted? I mean, even at the place where Paul and I work, if someone who used to work here a year ago tried to show up and use a badge, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work.
But what if you'd never worked for S&B, huh?
But then you guys walk in and just take everything, log on, get all the classified files. They're damn, this place.
It's darn it, they outfoxed us.
Yeah. The guy who never was in the company. Oh, how can we ever plot against that? The one thing we hadn't planned for.
Yeah.
The idea of the believer. What's the good side? What's the bad side? We've seen versions of this in other contexts, but we see the fact that, for instance, Mayfeld is imprisoned by the New Republic. We see their prison system.
Sure.
And we have a shot where the Imperials are like the good guys, saving Mando and Mayfeld from the pirates. And so, there's a little bit of hey, there's a little... Mayfeld even says, hey, to the people living here, they don't care. One ruler for another, it's different.
Yeah.
The one thing that was interesting, though, was I think it did come back to the idea of, the show wanted to point out, oh, yeah, by the way, the Empire is evil. Because this Operation Cinder that they're talking about is a thing from the lore. It was basically after Palpatine made a plan, they're hey, if I get killed off, what I want you to do is just salt the earth. I want you to blow up. It doesn't matter. There's no point to it other than F you. And so take out as many stuff as you can. So that Operation Cinder, which apparently killed off the rest of Mayfeld's unit, was something that this guy, his former commander, is those are the good old times.
Yeah.
Massacres and genocide. Love it. And so, yeah, you're kind of just giving us a reminder that, okay, right, it's not necessarily shades of gray. There's still some bad guys, and they're bad.
Well, I mean, I think I was also, too, it's in contrast to the earlier where he was sort of accepting, okay, this is just going to happen. He just couldn't let it pass. Someone in his face actually bringing up an atrocity which he had witnessed.
Right,
It was like,
treating it so casually when you could see, and to Bill Burr's credit, you could see on his face like the weight of that memory, and then this guy's just like, like, okay, all right.
I wonder if he's due to be in this new show.
Good point. You talking about the Rangers?
Yeah, the Rangers.
Yeah, could be. Speaking of results-oriented scripting, they wanted to find a way to get Mando out of his armor, which I forecasted they might do. They're like,
sure.
Look, that armor's so damn powerful, so they've rigged a way to be like, oh no, he can't go in as Mando. He's got to wear the crappy armor. And I did like that in the fight. You may have noticed this too, but when he goes to block,
yes,
one of the guys he tries to block with what he in his mind is his Mando armor, and it isn't, and he regrets it. It's like his arm is hurt for the rest of that time. He's like, ow, this piece of polystyrene didn't block anything.
No wonder I kill these guys so easily.
That's right. Boy, seeing it from the other side, I actually feel sorry for these guys. So one thing that's interesting, though, is he calls these guys pirates, the Raiders.
Right.
But I don't know that they are.
Yeah.
Like, they're not stealing. They're blowing it up.
Right.
They blow up the 2 shipments ahead of them.
I guess a reason why they could be pirates if they wanted to make their own supply of what they were blowing up more valuable.
Okay, sure. Or maybe take the scrap of the, I don't know. Oh, look, it's a blown up juggernaut. I can sell the parts.
Or, if they were hindering them in their activities in some way.
See, I think it's more interesting if they're like...
I don't think they are. I think it's it seems more like it's more of a political act.
Right. I think it's more interesting if they're like freedom fighters.
Right.
Essentially. There's this base on this planet. They're obviously, you can see all these people living in subjugation, basically, and they're like, we're striking back. We're going to blow up these shipments. And if that's the case, then Mando is killing off a bunch of people that are, against the Empire, which is...
Yeah, well, it's not like they really, the showrunners really thought about it, because you look out there, like, look at those poor people. They look pretty human to me. And then the people that are attacking them don't look human.
Like reptilian-looking things or something.
Yeah. So
you can kill them. That's fine. They're not humans.
Yeah. If it had been reversed, it was the humans attacking them and the people.
That's a good point.
Like, you can like those people. Who cares if those poor frog people are? If it
had been humans in rags and pole arms attacking, it would. You're right. It would have been like, oh, wait, did he just kill them off? As it was, he killed off a dozen of them. That's fine. Something that we get to see here also is his ability with pole arms, with I don't know if it's a spear per se. He's more of a staff in this one, but that's leading up, I think, to this idea of this fight. He's got the Beskar spear. We've been shown the Darksaber a few times. I think there's going to be this clash of Mando versus Gideon in this next episode.
Could be.
And on that element, it occurred to me, Pedro Pascal, very good with pole arms, as we saw in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
That fight scene he has with the mountain is maybe one of the best fight scenes in the show.
Yeah.
So, why not play to his strengths?
Sure.
Now, what that says to me, though, is assuming that's true, which I think it's a reasonable thing to think, I don't think he could do that with that armor on.
Yeah.
So probably I feel like, once again, we're going to find a reason for him not to have the armor. And it's going to be, we just saw him take the helmet off. He's fine with that. Now he's going to be like, all right, screw it. I'm all in. I'm anti-Mando now. Anyway, so
I feel like if this doesn't happen, you're going to be really disappointed. You'll be very upset. You might end up having to stop watching the show.
Here's a spoiler alert on our next recap. I'm going to open with, hated it. No, I'm just saying I'm going all in on that.
Yeah, you are.
That's a bold prediction, but my bold prediction is unarmored Pedro Pascal fighting with a spear against Moff Gideon. There you go.
All right.
I had talked about the fact that I think the Jedi that Grogu, who by the way, Grogu not in this episode.
True.
It's actually that's exactly what you wanted, Paul. I know you hate Grogu. No. But you would comment and you're like, maybe a little less on the hata baba.
Oh yeah, they had a lot less in this episode.
They had a lot less of that. No eating macarons and throwing them up.
No.
So, but Jedi who responds, perhaps it might be coming in this next episode. The one that's responding to Baby Yoda's hail. And I thought that perhaps it might be Ezra Bridger because of his connections to Rebels and Dave Filoni. A little more evidence to that point is there's an actor. His name is Raul Coley. I might be mispronouncing that, and my apologies, Mr. Coley, if I'm doing that. But he has been posting little teases on Twitter that he might be involved in this show, and he's put little pictures of him as Ezra Bridger. And then this week, this is why I'm bringing this up, Paul, because everything comes back to Lord of the Rings. He made a Lord of the Rings reference. He did a Gandalf quote. So he did the "Look to my coming at first light on the 5th day at dawn. Look to the east." It's Paul's favorite movie of all time. Don't let him tell you different. Nothing
gets me to sleep faster.
So "Look to my coming at first light" is Gandalf saying, "Hey, when all seems lost at Helm's Deep, look at dawn, look to the east, and I'll be there and I'll come to the rescue." And that's what he does. And so the idea that I could imagine in this next episode, oh no, all hope is lost. Oh look, it's Ezra Bridger, and he's coming and he's going to kick ass. So that's what this guy at least is insinuating is going to happen. Now, is he just trolling the world? Maybe. And if so, good on you, Raul, because that's a good move. But anyway, so
trolling the world while also referencing Lord of the Rings,
yeah. Something kind of funny. I appreciate the fact that even though Mando wears his helmet all the time, he's got a fairly well groomed mustache. Like he does grooming. Like, good on you, Mando. He just wants to make himself feel good.
They don't show that scene where he's like tells Grogu, "Wait here," and then he goes into another room and you hear, right?
Right.
Or maybe it's in the helmet.
Oh, okay. It's like an automatic. Sure. I mean, if they can shoot lasers out of his knees, why not do like a little? Give me a little trim. Give me a whatever, a Van Dyke. Let's talk about the choice to remove the helmet. So, this is that thing of Mayfeld brings up a great point, which is, hey, you're already wearing an Imperial helmet. So is your code, I don't show my face, or I don't take off my helmet? Because if it's helmet based, you've already screwed that up. Yeah. Mando has to make this decision to say, what's more important to me, finding the whereabouts of Grogu or adhering to this oath? And
I was watching that episode wherein the woman was about to take off his mask.
Oh, sure. And he's like,
and Cara Dune later asks him, like, so what's the deal? And he's like, once you take it off, you can never put it back on again.
Oh.
Is what he says.
Interesting. So, but he does put it back on, right? At the end of the episode.
Because he puts it on so he can go threaten while talking. He didn't do that before, I don't think. It's Star Wars TikTok.
So he's broken that code, obviously. To some, but everybody's going to get pushed to some kind of a limit at some point. Anyway. Plus, he's seen these other Mandalorians like Bo-Katan, who's like, oh, we're fine with it. What are you talking about?
Right.
He could justify it if he so desired, or rationalize it.
Hopefully it would be more than just a line that he takes on a new philosophy. Or where we could see it is in the next time he sees the Mandalorians that are of his sect. If they have that whole thing of, have you taken off your helmet?
Oh, right, good point. He's going to be like, yep, I sure did. Because I don't think his new philosophy will turn to, and I lie when it suits me.
Yeah.
I've never taken this off. No follow-up questions.
I've always been glad at how trusting these other Mandalorian are.
That's right. I trust you, you trust me. That's the way this works. Okay, good. Helmet's on. kind of more of the results-oriented script writing, I thought, was the former commander with what I thought was like the creepiest invitation to a toast of all time. Like, you know, the show is obviously trying to go, uh-oh, the gig's up. He recognized Mayfeld, and now they're in trouble. And instead, you know, it's like, hey, can I buy you a drink? But the way he says it, it doesn't feel like the way anyone would approach that scene. That moment should have been.
I think you're excluding the very large, you know, Hitler Youth, you know, and any SS officers, you know.
All right, here I'm sure that's how
I'm sure that's how they propose to their wives. Like,
is that?
I've been thinking very, very long time about putting a ring.
Follow
on
me.
Your
Come
finger.
this way. I wish to buy you a drink. Like, oh God, what are you? You're creeping me out. You know?
That's good. Yay!
Yeah, okay. This is your happy, you know, happy expression thing of like, you know, the subtext was, wow, you were the two guys that survived that incredibly treacherous run. Congratulations. Let me buy you a drink. And instead it comes out, I have something to show you. Alcohol. You're like, whoa, God, oh, ah. Anyway, so yeah, they kept him creepy, and now he's dead. So,
yeah. Or it could just be this is what you know, these higher ups like to do, like scare the lower people into thinking they're gonna die.
And then, oh, you get a drink.
Here's your Christmas bonus.
Oh God! Oh jeez. So I did also like a little nonverbal cue from Mando when he's got the helmet off. They're sitting having the drink with the commander. He knows that Mayfeld is going down the wrong. He's like, and he does a little. He just does a very quick nod of his head, like, "Don't do it. Don't. No, come on now." You know, like he knows. And Mayfeld's like, "I got this." Oh, boom! Just shoots the guy. Yeah. We see, you know, Fennec and Cara Dune are snipers. They take out a whole bunch of folks. We get to see the seismic charge, which it's actually my least favorite Star Wars movie. I call it Attack of the Clowns, but the seismic charge was not a bad part of it. I enjoyed that. So we got to see Slave One do the chwa, which was pretty cool. I was a fan of that. I'm like,
isn't it bliss?
Yeah. I also liked seeing the ship rotate from the inside. You know, like they're sitting.
Oh, right.
And you see the ship rotating around them. I thought it was kind of neat. Just the.
To get around the weird design of the ship.
Right, exactly. The ship that looks like it's I don't know, like
an iron.
So, looking forward to the next episode. We obviously know what happens.
Yes.
Mando fights without his armor. Kills Gideon, but only after Ezra Bridger shows up at the end, does a little lightsaber thing, sees the little baby Yoda, is like, you keep him. I'm done with training. I don't know. Yeah.
And it sucks if it isn't. So there you go.
Exactly. And Jake Lloyd shows up. That's what we're looking for. So, all right. Awesome. And break. All right. So anyway, thanks, everybody. And thank you, Paul. And we'll be back talking about Star Trek Discovery and The Expanse. Thanks, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.